is Olivier Notz. I am responsible for the Interap Academy. Today we will show you how to install a butterfly valve, in this case a wafer type, between flanges in a piping system. There are some few points that are very important to be considered. First, you need to make sure that the piping is well aligned. Second, it is important that the gap between the two flanges is wide enough to allow to insert the valve without force, otherwise you could dislodge the liner from his position. If it is not wide enough, you need to use a spreader to enlarge it. Then you should make sure that the disc is in a slightly open position, but so that the edge of the disc is not coming out of the valve body, so you don't see the edges of the disc. Otherwise, there is a certain risk that you would damage the edge of the disc when you insert it between the valves. You should never use additional gaskets. You should never use grease except on the screws for the flange. And in general, please refer to the installation instruction for the number of screws and the length of the screws, depending on the flange standard you will use. A further important point, the face-to-face dimension on a butterfly valve, on a rubber-lined butterfly valve, is the edge of the body, whereas on a PTFE-lined butterfly valve, is it the flange surface on the liner. These were the basics. Now we will show you how to install the valve between the pipe. Now we show you how to install the wafer type butterfly valve in the piping system. First, I use the screws on top to better center the valve body in the pipe. And I use as well the two lower screws. Now the valve is inserted and I will put on each screw the nut. To start, I do just hand tighten the screws. Thanks to the centering ears that you have on the valve body, the valve is already quite perfectly positioned in the center of the pipe. So you don't need to be too careful about proper centering because it happened already thanks to the centering ears. Now we would start to tighten all the screws with the keys, and we will do so crosswise. It is important now to consider the tightening torques of the screws according to the supplier of the screws you are using. It is very important not to overstress the screw, so if you tighten too much, there might be some problems with elongation at the end. For the PTFE-lined butterfly valve, you will need to tighten the screws using the torque tables that you find on the installation instruction of the Bianca that you can download on our website. On the rubber-lined butterfly valve, you will tighten the screws until the gap between the flange and the valve body disappears. It means then that the flange surface will touch the body of the valve. And then you can assume that the valve is as well perfectly tight at the flange surface. So now you see there is no gap between the flange and the body, so it means the valve is now perfectly tight and the installation is done. Thank you for watching this video of the Interap Academy. I hope it was helpful.